This is my Panasonic Lumix G7. It's a cute little mirrorless camera. It's actually very powerful of a device. You got a little flip screen, you got a lens here, you got micro four thirds sensor, you can shoot 4K. But you know what powers this powerful little device? Well, it's in here, and it's this. That is a camera battery. And that was a pretty cool intro. And if you like that, you better hit that subscribe button. Hello guys, this is Zach, whatever you want to call me. And today we're talking about batteries in the context of filmmaking and cameras and all that stuff. We're going to go through like different types of batteries, what are the most common types, which ones to get first and which ones to get last, and to worry about, different kind of things basically. So let's get into it. First off, I want to talk about why the hell there's so many different types of batteries. Simply put, you need a different type of battery for different uses. Small cameras need small batteries, and big cameras that take a lot of power, big batteries. Also, big professional cameras need to last all day, and they might need to record non-stop for 2-3 hours. Having a big battery might be important and essential to that. On the other hand, a small consumer-friendly camera used by someone on their holiday trip, and on a holiday trip, maybe like when they're taking a break, they have more than enough time, ample time to swap out the batteries for fresh ones. And that trade-off of having a big bulky battery inside a small compact camera usually isn't worth it. So different tools require different power sources. So sometimes you have a battery that's designed to fit in a small camera, and sometimes you have a battery that is basically the size of a small camera. Easy. Also, it also is a thing where, some camera manufacturers purposely make a specific type of battery that is under their own brand, so that, when you invest inside their brand and you buy their kind of batteries, you have less of an incentive to swap to another brand because you say already have their accessories. So let's say you have a lot of these Canon BP series batteries because you've been shooting on Canon cinema cameras. Maybe you have like 15 of them, which is a lot, frankly, because each one of these is like a couple $100. Say you have a lot of these. There's much more of a barrier when you want to swap over to the Sony cinema cameras because you already have so many of these accessories. So to buy a Sony camera, you have to buy a bunch more Sony batteries, and it's a nightmare, even though the same kind of output, the same kind of power can be used on both of these cameras. And in fact, they even sell adapters for these two kind of batteries. Not just a neat thing, it's also often a business decision. But we're not here for that. Let's talk about the most common types of batteries. Starting off on the cheap end, it's, tiny little batteries that are used to power small accessories like a microphone. This microphone isn't battery powered, in fact, powered by nothing, it's powered by magic, honestly. This microphone doesn't need any kind of battery power. A slightly bigger microphone, but still a small scale one, like the Rode VideoMic Pro, might need a small battery inside there to power the little amp. So small accessories that don't need power are often using these cheap disposable battery. So your 9 volts, your AA, your AAAs, that's going to be very, very common. And these are the kind of batteries that you're going to be using in those tiny little accessories. It's designed to be the low power accessories. They don't need a lot of power. They don't expect you to recharge the batteries in them or at all. So as a result, they just use these disposable battery formats and expect to use kind of alkaline batteries. And often with these low power devices, these alkaline batteries last for weeks, if not months anyway, so it doesn't really matter that they are these disposable batteries. So the only concern though is that it is small and clumsy to bring a lot of AA batteries around in your bag, so you have to be aware of how you store these batteries. Sometimes they might leak as well, so there is a pro and con to alkaline batteries. But if you are going on a shoot, it's always nice to bring a couple of 9 volts, couple of AAs, and a couple of AAAs. You never know whether someone's shooting with a VideoMic Pro, some mini light or some mini accessory that needs AA batteries to operate, maybe a remote control for a light like this one right here, to control lights more conveniently like this. So AAA batteries, so bringing it along might be useful for a shoot. Now, another tier up will be just standard power banks. More and more devices are being able to be powered off of just USB power. So the camera, for example, you can charge it off USB, I think micro USB or USB-C, plug a cable in and it starts charging the battery inside. And some cameras nowadays even can just be straight up powered off of USB-C, like the newer Sony cameras. If you have a powerful enough source, you can just run it off of a power bank all day without having to worry about swapping out batteries, which is super convenient. Beauty of a power bank like this is that it's cheap, it's convenient because it's really mass market of a product, and you can get a lot of juice for not a lot of price. It's 10,000 milliamps, and because it's designed for an average smartphone user, it isn't designed to be super expensive. The only problem with a battery pack like this is obviously it's a problem to attach it to a camera. So let's say you want to power a small mirrorless camera off a power bank like this, you need to find a way, be it a cage or some sort of mount, to attach the power bank to your camera, which is kind of a hassle. Also, these things are kind of heavy if you want to get a good big one, but this is an absolutely like a really, really good thing to have on set. So if you're going to go do some beginner filmmaking, if you're going to start shooting bring along one of these, you have no idea how many things get charged off of USB nowadays. And on top of the fact that, some things can be run off of USB power, there are also like little rinky-dink USB, micro USB or USB-C based battery chargers that charge batteries, and they can be charged off a power bank, which means this might just be your lifesaver on a shoot. So this is actually increasingly getting useful, especially on small scale productions. If you're doing Hollywood level, you won't be watching this video, and also that battery will probably be much less. Now, another tier up will be your average camera batteries. So something like the Lumix G7 battery that I showed you guys earlier, the one that pops out like this. Your Canon LP6 battery is one of the most common ones out there. The Sony FZ100, the Z series batteries from Sony, are also super common, and these are kind of the batteries that are built for use in small tiny cameras, like mainly still photography cameras, like the Lumix G7, your Sony A7s, your mirrorless cameras, or your DSLRs. So those batteries are pretty decent. They last okay with these small, compact, tiny, power efficient cameras, but generally they're not found in the bigger, heftier cinema cameras because it's just not powerful enough for those use cases. But in some cases, it's still pretty common to be found, and I find that a lot of accessories do use the Canon kind of camera batteries a lot. And also Blackmagic uses the LPE6 for their Blackmagic Pocket cinema cameras, although using one of those batteries on that camera will not last for long. But the LPE6 is probably one of the most common DSLR batteries used in filmmaking or used in photography today, probably because Canon's DSLR game was just so on point that they pretty much dominated the whole kind of game for a long period of time. So it's the most ubiquitous kind of small compact camera battery. However, it's not as commonly used as the next battery. This one is super commonly used. It's the Sony MPF series batteries. Now, the competitor from Canon is the BPA series batteries, but because these are really built for camera use and just camera use alone, they really don't see as much use in camera accessories such as lights and recorders and monitors as the Sony MPF series battery. Even though, as I've said before, they have the same kind of output. The pins are also very similarly aligned, with these batteries. If you align these two contacts on the side with the Sony MPF series pins, you can actually power things off this Canon battery, which is quite cool. And you can even get adapters to adapt from this battery to this battery. But if you're just looking to invest in a bunch of batteries for your accessories, this is more than likely going to be the battery that your accessories are using. The MPF series batteries were built initially for Sony camcorders. I think Sony's newer camcorders still use a similar type of mount for batteries, but they have higher end kind of versions with battery indicators similar to the Canon BPA series. The thing about the MPF series is it's so ubiquitous among accessories, be it lights, your monitors, your recorders, basically anything that isn't a camera but it's often worked closely on a film set, probably be able to be run off of Sony MPF series batteries. They're pretty easy to get. They're pretty reasonably priced if you get party ones. They can have the potential to have a lot of capacity because this is a small one, but you can have a really tall one with a lot of space for a lot of power. And it's just versatile and common, and it's a good battery to invest in a bunch of, because if you're going to a shoot, going to a set, chances are, there's going to be uses for that kind of battery. So make sure you check that out. Since we're on the topic of this tier of cinema camera batteries, and this is more of camcorders, video camera kind of battery, we have the Canon side of things, which is also pretty common as well. Now, this is most commonly used in your Canon cinema cameras, your C500, C100, C300, and more recently your C70, but it's also made its way to some other video cameras as well, like the Red Komodo, which has literally caused this battery to sell out really quickly. And the reason this battery is so unique is because it's got this intelligent battery indicator. You press this light and it shows you the amount of battery each battery has, which probably takes up a lot of space inside, but it's very convenient from kind of productivity standpoint to ensure that you don't swap out a battery for something that's already run out of juice and you waste time on set. And Sony does have MPF series batteries with battery indicators, but when it comes to Canon, as far as I can tell, all the Canon batteries on this BPA series pretty much have an indicator. So it's like something that maybe it's like standard for the system, but yeah, it has this little thing, and it's it's mainly built for Canon cameras, although you do find it on some other cameras as well. That is kind of the most I have in terms of prosumer. That is not the highest level. The highest level of batteries, we're talking Hollywood level productions, well, not just Hollywood, but basically anything really pro, you'll be using a lot of V-mount batteries. Just imagine this is a V-mount battery. So V-mount and gold mounts are basically these big, hefty industrial mounts with electrical contacts on them that allow you to mount a battery on, like, it's basically, just allows you to lock it into place. The thing about this battery mount is that it's because it's designed to be wide and hefty and rigid and strong and stiff, it can support a very, very heavy battery. It can support a lot of weight. And because it can support a heavy battery, it can support a lot of power. And so if you're running big, massive Hollywood cameras, big, massive Hollywood lights, your 600 watts, 800, 900 watts, I don't know how many watts you're running, these batteries are likely to be the ones in use to power them. So because of these big heavy mounts that can support big powerful batteries, they're very common in expensive productions. V-mount and gold mount, they're really common. They're used also as the main camera batteries for really high-end cinema cameras, like the high-end RED cameras. Your RE Alexas are all run off V-mount or gold mount. And the way it usually works with these batteries is that these accessories that use this kind of batteries don't actually natively run off of these batteries. What you usually have to do is you buy a plate, also known as a V-mount plate or a gold mount plate, and this plate will basically be where you mount the battery off of, and the plate will have a lot of different ports that allow you to plug in cables to power your different devices. And the beauty of having such a big, powerful battery is that you can have a centralized battery in a whole kind of camera rig. That's kind of the tier list, and that's kind of the whole progression and the most common batteries used in filmmaking, cinema world. And I hope I explained the different levels of it to you guys pretty clearly. In terms of recommendations as to which one to invest in first of all, get a couple of batteries for the camera that you are actually using, and then secondly, get yourself some Sony MPF series batteries. That's it. If you're just starting out, it's gonna be years before you get into the realm where you're messing around with V-mounts and gold mounts. So just focus on getting batteries that you use with your current cameras and batteries that you can use with any future accessories you get, which is the MPF series battery. They are industry standard for a good reason. They're convenient, versatile, easy to get, and reasonably priced. So those are the batteries to invest. So I'm going to end this video off here. If you guys like the video, definitely like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Discord. It's always linked in the description. I've been doing daily uploads, and if you want to support this channel and help it grow, make sure you make sure you interact with the video. You can comment anything good on Asti, like it, share it, all that stuff. And I've been doing daily uploads on this and my main channel, youtube.com/ZachXTech, which is linked on the screen probably right now. And hopefully you can support me, because I'm doing 14 videos a week, which is very, very difficult. And it won't be possible if it will be impossible to continue this for a long period of time and try to make it into something if I don't get any support for it. So hopefully some of you can appreciate my work and support this channel, and if you do, that would be so greatly appreciated. So I'm gonna end this video off here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.